one frame, one area. So we're just arts-based researchers, or we're just mechanical engineers, using the methods mechanical engineers have always used. Once we step out of the silo of the arts into another area, then there are all sorts of challenges. And it seems to me, and I think in the literature I read, that's really crucial about relationships across and between, and not remaining in the silo, and not creating our own arts-based silo that's sort of exclusive and esoteric. And we were just doing some thinking, weren't we? So we just want to share that thinking with the figure.
Yes, yes. So about this silo, it's also related to theory of innovation studies about knowledge creation process and how knowledge is created in a kind of a framework level of, for example, regional development. So we are kind of or not identifying, but stealing, borrowing the concept of silos from there. So it means that, for example, the mental mode of engineer is based on his path where he has come to that place of being engineer and has an identity of engineer. Of course, there isn't like this kind of a thing that, okay, all the engineers are like this or that. But there are kind of ontological things behind the education and the identity and the roles, as well as there are with the educators, as well as there are with the artists, and then there are perhaps different type of artists who have different type of identities. So this is what we did yesterday. Kind of I think it's going to be ongoing process for some time to sort of start to, and I think it's ongoing process forever, because you need to kind of re-identify yourself when you cross a border, like from, for example, if you're coming from the arts pedagogies, like mine, so the home basis, or was. And when I come to, for example, the organizational context working with Paula, so I need to step up from that my own home base and start to create some kind of a role and identity and practice in order that I understand what Paula's position and Paula's mental landscape is and what it is about. So based on that, we kind of suggest about this, that what if this arts-based researcher, so what if it's kind of a hybrid identity? It kind of actually it was yesterday, because we are living in a community. So after the kind of a sessions, you continue discussion and thinking. So Anna, you pointed out something. Oh, was it this morning? Oh yes, quite. You got such different roles when you're doing arts-based research and different stage of research. You have like a different practical role and practices. So this came to our conversation on what is the hybrid identity of arts-based researcher. And I would say that there isn't this that, yeah, let's take a textbook and start to learn that, aha, A, it is like this, B, it is like this, C, it is like this. But maybe there are some kind of a frameworks or general issues that we all kind of are involved. So I'm kind of thinking that this could be some of our discussions between sessions and something to sort of figure together out. And this is something that we have in Finland. There was a first kind of a pioneering educational system in our University of Arts. So 15 Finnish artist has gone through this kind of educational process where they have created their own kind of artistic practice.
In different contexts.
Yeah.
As researchers and practitioners and developers.
They are more like practitioners, like an artist rather than researchers. And in that context, we also talked about this hybrid identity and what it actually sort of challenge ourselves, because we need to kind of create maybe a new narrative, whom we are, how we posit ourselves, what is near, what is far, and then I think this is very important. What is kind of lacking? What does NBC?
It's suggested actually now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like, oops. And then I
What
think
are revealing psychologically?
Freud is in the room.
Freud is the
oh my God!
the guillotine. There goes my masculinity.
So I kind of felt yesterday that I spoke a lot of this kind of complicated things. I don't know, but I had this kind of a feeling in the evening. So I kind of think that maybe if we think ourselves as arts-based researchers, and what is our identity, how we define each other, ourselves, or how do we identify ourselves in relation to different actors and agencies in our, how to say, ecosystem. And then I thought, what would be the ideal or hoped system, which would kind of make us flourish. And this is a kind of a flourish flower.
Flourishing stick. Okay, excellent. So, but again, we're just adding to that as we carry on reflecting, a lot of the things on intensive programs like this, a lot of the really good thinking happens outside these sessions, like between Anna and Annie there, or between, Lou and Si and Ava and you're talking, and that's where a lot of the real, most important thinking is going on, because you're processing and making it your own. But it's how we bring those things in. So can we just again say there's real license at the beginning of the day, and particularly at the end of the day, thinking of what Sarah was saying yesterday about, it's like bringing something to those sessions, like we've been really thinking about this. This is our concern. This is, and you might find it in that form. And it started, it's the last thing I want to show. This started in Vic, but it started in Estonia when we met for planning. And I think these things are really important. This is a list from Elizabeth. Here. Do you remember you did this? Do you remember this? And this really amazing thing is this. Hold on. Even the small ball that you made is here. So we've got that small ball. Remember you did it, and you did it as you roll it round, and it disappears and drops down a hole. So when you'd done it and it was on the floor afterwards, you went, Annie saw it and went, this is really important. So it's like these things we make could be really significant. So when we were looking at this yesterday and thinking about this, we were thinking, oh, these could be, you were saying, these could be the silo holes, and there's a danger that we go, boop, and we drop straight down one. So how do we keep moving without dropping down the holes, but knowing that they're there? And I think if we're going to capture things like in the ebook with things, we don't just want a load of text and dull, rational writing that's going to turn people off. This sort of stuff, if I can give it back to Elizabeth, to say again, what does it, and that this could be the stuff that finds its way into that book, that helps us think conceptually about it. We've got this, we've got that. And the last thing I want to say is, before I do introduce Peter when he comes on, it won't take 15 minutes, but it won't take 15 minutes from your session, because it can carry on. We've got plenty of time this morning. Is I think this, and I'm going to go back to it, because we had Sari from a different field for park management. We've got Paolo from Finnish National Railways. We've got Annie as that artist. And I think when you're looking at what's the relation, what can you do together? It's like, I was really struck by the fact that for example, in Power, so you've got your agenda and the company and the responsibility of the job, and then you've got the arts-based researcher. It's like what we can offer and bring, and what I took from it was a relationship that some trust might be built up in to think of things together that might work. But it's not the artist or the arts-based researcher coming, yeah, I've got this great way of doing stuff, it'll fit everything that you do. It's like, it seems to me it's a negotiation of a way that will fit and meet the needs that you're doing. And that, I think, is a radically different thing than what happens in a lot of, say, applied arts and the art, where people want to take their art form to places to do it and think it will have an immediate effect. It's a different thing. And so this relational, I'm just flagging the relational side of things and how that might work. So it struck me really strongly yesterday. So we've talked now for nearly 15 minutes, 13 minutes, and could we just have 2 minutes